Okay, try that.
And we try to spend some time, I think that's all.
Yeah, that's good. Works if I got it. Password, that is.
really?
Yeah, I have to get it. What's the password in here again? I'm gonna have to write that down.
Yeah, hold on a second.
Is it the guest private?
Jerry asked me to start drawing.
Oh, watch where you're going.
Okay. I'll bet I can hit it at least once time.
You don't want to.
I'll try really good. I'll try not to miss it more than once.
Have you seen it before that?
Really?
Oh, are you?
Where does her? Donna's home.
I look kind of ragged. I'm not changing my nose. I don't smell bad. Oh, my. Yeah, right, I can see
Okay, I
that.
think we're ready to go.
I'll get it. Is that an O or the line through?
Yeah, line through means no.
Thank you. And the capitals are important?
I don't know why you say that.
Oh, he said
Okay.
we never have.
Let's go ahead and get started.
Wait, you can't start till after.
Well,
So get ready.
I'm trying.
We'll get mixed us in.
And it's all Eric's fault because he gave the stuff to us. So,
And you get it too late.
no, he gave it to me yesterday. Okay, now I got.
This documentation was in there, so it's, the agenda was in there, of course. Yeah, it's pretty useful because then you can look at your stuff before you get your single questions. You can check the code. And I just print the code as, this is sort of separate sections. The mystery piece.
Okay.
ready?
We're-
I'd say so.
Just kind of ignore Ryan over here. He's doing some visual aids for later on. But I'd like to welcome you to Planning Commission today. We have a new Planning Commissioner, Tom Rawlings. This is his first time here. We'd like to welcome him here. Eric Bunker needed to be excused tonight. He had a conference or some other obligation he had to go to, so I'm taking over today. Sorry about that. You'll have to deal with me. Do we have any comments from the public for things that are not on the agenda?
Is this where I want to bring up drones?
No, you're not the public.
Did you put it on the agenda?
Well, I called Eric about it 2 months ago, and he said, well, just bring it up when we have our next meeting.
Okay, yeah, you can talk about it, but let's try and keep comments below about 3 minutes.
Because he wants to get out of here.
No,
I think
because
everybody-
comments are restricted to 2 minutes.
But if it's something, tell us what you're thinking and then let's decide whether it needs to go on the agenda.
Well, that's what I wanted to bring it up for. I just want to know whether or not we want to make some kind of a regulation for it in our town about them. I had a drone fly over my house every 3 days for about a month. It came so close that it was down in front of my front door.
Okay, my suggestion, call the FAA because it's illegal to fly a drone within 5 miles of an airport.
I called the police, and they came out and did a report, and they said legally, no, it's not. They can fly a drone, and it's not a problem.
Within 5 miles of, let's double
Well-
check, but I think within 5 miles of an airport.
He did check, and apparently, yeah, I've heard that too, because that's why I called him. And he said, in all honesty, they are bringing it back to the towns and the counties to make regulations on it. The only thing that I was concerned about is, that's a violation of my privacy.
So can't you cover with the nuisance ordinance?
Well, I also asked him if I could shoot it down.
No, that's your residence.
You
No.
thought it was a bird.
I couldn't. But I was just wondering if we as a planning commission want to discuss it, want to bring it up, want to consider it at all for our town.
Well, does anyone on the planning commission want to do some research to find out what the rules are and what we can and can't do?
I can look into it deeper, but yeah, I did find out, I thought it was 2. In fact, I was told that the FAA said you can't fly them within 5 miles of an airport, but it's below a certain level. And this one was definitely below that
You're
level.
under controlled airspace.
Yeah,
It's okay below a certain level.
You
yeah.
have to train your eagle to catch them.
Pardon?
Do it in Belgium.
We had to
Well,
raise eagles
we-
and train them to pull drones out of the sky.
go for it. We did do a little research, and there was a gal who was parking over on 3000 South and flying her drone over to my house. So, yeah.
So you're gonna do some more research?
Oh, I'm just gonna shoot her next time it shows up.
So are we going, do we want to put it
Do
on
we
the
want to
agenda
put
to
on the
discuss
agenda
it?
to discuss
Well,
it?
I think we can, and I'm just wondering if someone wanted to do some research to.
Why don't we send it to town council and let them tell us what direction to go?
Well, they're just
If
gonna
any.
say, what do you recommend?
Yeah.
Because really, that's all we can do is recommend anyway.
Well, let me come up with some facts and figures that are solid.
And check
I'll
our
look into
nuisance, check our nuisance ordinance. and see if we can
Okay.
Make it a nuisance.
Were there any other comments from the,
Or trespassing.
okay.
That would be a good one too.
All right, let's move on
Thank
to number 3, which is a
Okay.
lot line adjustment, okay?
Tom, before you leave tonight, I need to get your address, your phone number, and your email. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay.
So I'm going to ask Ryan to explain to us what's going on.
Okay. Do you want to give order to that? We have the applicant here,
Oh,
or the
yeah,
applicant's counsel here.
That's great.
So I think do you want to start?
Sure, yeah. Do you guys want me to stand on the left turn, or?
Yep.
Yes,
It's easier to hear you.
When,
state your name.
you got it. My name's Nick Frost. I'm counsel for Gerald and Elizabeth Smith. Sitting in the back, I'm looking at this room. When I was in my last semester of law school, for a pro bono work, I went and appeared before a planning commission. And it was in this big room where they sat maybe 5 or 6 steps above you, and I had these lights on me, and you know, it seemed like they were going to determine whether I lived or whether I died. And I had my professor in the back and the assistant chair to the department, and I really wanted to do a good job. And the lights were beating down on me, and at some point in my opening paragraph, I locked my knees, and then I think I folded like a cheap lawn chair at some point after that, and that was my first experience. The good news is, whatever we were there for got approved, but I think it's because they felt bad for me. But I haven't used that strategy since. I'm here, I was retained by Jerry Smith, particularly to mitigate an issue that it seems like before my time was being pushed towards litigation, and I came in, and I think really I've worked with Ryan quite a bit and done a really good job of getting neighbors on board and trying to find solutions that don't go that direction. I'm a land use attorney, I don't do that stuff, and so I'm trying to resolve it. I think we've made some good headway, so we want to present it here and see what you guys think and see what, you know, if you guys can help us finish the steps or what we need to do to make it work. I don't know how much you guys know. I was functioning on the assumption you guys had a packet that I had prepared, but you were saying they were printed out and.
The packet was emailed out to everybody
Oh.
Monday, but
Are you vaguely, I don't want to duplicate effort to get us out of here as soon as we can, so are you guys vaguely familiar kind of with what the backstory is? So then what I'll add only is that, you know, like I said, we worked really hard to steer this away from the type of attorneys that want to initiate litigation, mostly because, as you guys know, it seems like that involves everyone, cities, counties, neighbors, old purchasers, new purchasers, and I think we're there. At least we have a good run at a way to resolve this. You know, 100 feet is the standard, and we need to get that. Ryan and I explored a few different avenues to do that. I think that the least messy is the way we proposed tonight. I've called Rick McEwen that owns the 1.4 acre parcel. He was very nice, understood the situation. We had a good conversation, and he was willing to allow us to do the lot line adjustment to make this work. But at the end of the day, the Smiths simply just want to use that parcel that they purchased for its intended purpose that they purchased it for, which was to access their 9-acre parcel, which sits behind it, and be done with this issue at the end of the day. So I don't know if you guys want Ryan, or if you want me to explain anything that's not clear, or answer any questions that you have. We tried to find everything that was in consistency with the code, and again was the least messiest in terms of splitting up lots and getting access to that 9-acre parcel.
Okay.
So the application in a nutshell, is we have, this is a 3-lot subdivision, and as Nick mentioned, this .43 acres is really part of this 9 acre, for all intents and purposes, it's 2 lots, but for all intents and purposes, they're tied together, because this 9 acres is otherwise landlocked. So when the Smiths bought it, this was 100 feet, which is the minimum frontage that we need, and this was .6 something or other, it doesn't really matter. 4 days later, this number went to 70. After they closed, 4 days later, this number went to 70, this went to .43, and has stayed that way since, was that the early 90s?
97.
Mid-90s, so 18 years.
So the earth moved, or what happened?
So what had happened is the previous owner, although they're 2 different parcels, if I could step over here, it might be better, so you guys don't have to keep looking at, what's that?
Watch the board.
Oh, thank you. So this parcel and this parcel are 2 separate parcels, as Ryan pointed out, but they're deeded, and they're on the same warranty deed. For all intents and purposes, this is supposed to be the access parcel to this. When we closed on April 23rd of 1997, this was 100 feet. That was the amount that was deeded. That's in the deed. That's what was given to the Smiths. 4 days later, the previous owner of this lot recorded a plat amendment that changed this to 70, and the 30 feet difference added on right here to a guy that used to own this lot and no longer owns this.
Who was that that used to own that lot?
This one here.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm looking at a whole bunch of names today.
What I figured out, the people who did this and the people that own all the property now are different.
Yeah, none of those are
So
still.
it's not like it's not like the guy that,
Originally done
It's in
through
the
the
packet.
county.
it's not like the guy
Yeah,
who
it's in the
did this,
packet.
we can go back very easily and say, hey, you know, that was wrong, and we move the line back and it's all said and done. It goes back over multiple people and multiple, it gets really messy really fast.
Can I ask one question at this point? Okay, so the 100 feet frontage, there's a question in my mind, how deep was that? How far back did it go?
So.
Is that blue marker right?
Yeah,
Is the
so-
brown one's
Yes,
marked?
Yeah, momentarily it does.
Okay.
So the application,
Good thoughts.
so the application is,
Can we look at this, man?
Yes, yes.
it's basically move the line over like this. So we're not restoring the whole 30 acre, the whole 30-foot swath of the whole parcel. We're restoring 5 feet of it.
5 feet.
5 feet. So this is 5 feet by 30 feet.
Okay.
And so now this goes back to 100. Okay, it's done.
Only right there's the frontage though.
And McEwen doesn't care? He's okay with restoring it to the 30?
He's
Or
okay.
the 30 feet?
Well, it's only 5 feet.
Yeah, and we're giving him on the back end, we're going a foot, since we own this parcel, we're giving him a foot back here all the way across.
And so when this idea was first presented to me, by making it, the staff to understand it, they said, we can't approve this because this is, 1.4 is a non-conforming lot. And we can't make it smaller. So granted, 5 by 30 is not a huge area, but we can't make a non-conforming lot smaller.
Right.
So it's
Yeah,
So-
more value from the back to
So
the.
Hop, you can't do that one. And he came back very quickly and said, well, I can if I just add the same square footage or more back here. And so this lot is actually gonna get bigger by 80 square feet. Kind of trivial amount, but it's bigger.
When this subdivision was created, the parcel, what instrument was used? Was that a quitclaim deed that claimed that 30 feet?
No, so these 3 lots are a subdivision, and it was a subdivision, it was a plat amendment to the subdivision that was recorded after the fact.
Oh, okay.
So it's done via plat instead of warranty deed.
So there really isn't so much a missing 30 feet as it was very clear where it is and where it was on different dates.
Okay.
It's completely different than the other one we had a few weeks ago where the two plots just didn't come together and there was this missing 30 feet that maybe overlaps and maybe it's a gap and nobody's really sure. This one, it's very clear where it is. It's just the difference between 170 and they thought they bought 100.
Well, they did buy 100, they were deeded 100. I mean, it's clearly a fraudulent conveyance. It has earmarkings of fraud. It is per se fraud. The litigation department is all over this. And my job is to go, hold on a second here. And the problem is with litigation, as you guys know, and I can say this because I don't do it, is that it's gonna involve Rick McHugh, it's gonna involve the previous owner, it's gonna involve everybody, and then, but I don't think we have to go there. I really don't. I feel like there's a lot of ways to work this out, and this is probably, like I said, the least messiest, and it avoids all of that.
So as I went through to evaluate this and look for, like I always do, so here's the application, why would we approve it and why would we not? So scour the town code, why, you know, where in here can we not do what the applicant's asking?
Or what can we do?
Or, you know, can we do it and why could we not? So you go through the town code and say, where in here does this not work, you know? Okay, we're making it a regular lot, so what does the town code say about regular lots? Not much.
No, I don't care about shape.
Right, and we had that a few years ago, if you remember, we had that 18-acre piece that we broke up into 3 lots that some of the craziest shapes you've ever seen, and we said this is not a good idea, but it's your land. And so we have nothing about regular shaped lots. We do have that we can't make a non-conforming lot smaller, but by adding this little foot, this foot in the back, it's getting bigger. Granted, it's not by much, but you could argue we're making the situation better by 80 square feet. So certainly not making it worse.
They only want to use this to access the 9, or do they want to put a home on it?
No,
No,
just
it's
to
a
access the
driveway.
line. So the .43 gets bigger, which again, trivial, but it's getting better. We have the 100 feet of frontage. We have, with the 9 acres, we have more than 5 acres. The only thing is they can't build on this .43, to your question, because they have to have the 100 feet at the setback. And so the setback's 30 feet, so they can't build at 30 feet, they have to go way back here.
And don't we still have
But
a
they're okay.
200-foot frontage for building?
No.
No,
We changed that?
it's 100-foot frontage and it's 300 at setback, right?
Is it?
Or 250,
I
it's
think
250 at the setback.
But they have, but up here with this 9 acres, they have, I think it's 1,000 and something feet, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that works.
Build back in now.
And so the staff report you have in front of you says that as far as, you know, reasons to say no,
So that 5 feet takes in everything that we would need as a town in terms of easements and, I mean, because 5 feet seems just minuscule, but is it adequate for what we're looking for in terms of what the town needs?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to,
Yeah, you're deeper in the code than I am, so I didn't know if there's,
so the only thing I can see is on the plot, the way it was drawn, and then it was conceptual in the packet, is that there's the 10-foot PUE. And so the 10-foot, you know, he really loses, this lot really loses 5 feet back, you know, that 10-foot PUE now jogs too. So there's a bigger corner out of this lot than 5 feet because of that. But
Are there any
And is he aware of
utilities in
that?
place on those lots? I didn't think so.
No.
um,
public
right,
utilities.
Yeah, public utilities.
So if we ever want to run a water line through here, we have 10 feet on this property and 10 feet on this property. We've got a 20-foot swap. We can go down and put in a water line if we wanted to. We have no plans to do that right now, but we have that if we want. So the only thing that affects this lot with that public utility easement will have to jog. And then this one will have the whole thing will be in an easement. So if the town needs to do anything into this hole, we've pretty much got an easement over the whole thing. Because this easement will come down and then jog here, but that part's meaningless because it's already the road and we own it. So
Right.
this piece comes down this way, and so really we just get a little more easement out of it there. if
So
we-
then this little piece gets deeded to the 9, should have been there to begin with, and then there's no way that we're looking at future that it will disappear again.
Right.
Well, if it does disappear, then it's not buildable again.
Okay, but if they've built and they're back there and this is their driveway and now this piece disappears,
Well, for this to disappear legally, we would have to approve another lot line adjustment. So they'd have to come back here and say, I want this to go away.
Okay, and we wouldn't.
And you'd say,
No.
no, you built back here, you need 100 feet, we're not gonna do that. or you'd say something different, but it'd
Yes.
come back for you, then it would be okay.
Any other questions, or someone want to make a motion? Okay,
On the Smith lot line adjustment,
This is where it is.
I recommend the planning commission
It's right
approves, or recommends this application to the town council for approval.
okay, do we have a second?
there. I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, are you ready for a vote? Okay, all in favor?
So an after-the-fact comment, this would have been changed if we had a flag lot ordinance in place, right?
If we had a
Flag
flag
lots
lot
in our
ordinance, this arguably would have been a lot without having to do this.
Yeah. Okay. Another reason.
So, thank you for the work you guys did on this, I think we came up with a good solution.
And on that note, another fact, the road we just
Oh,
passed,
can we just ask another question here? Just, you would probably know this. How, we know how wide this is. How deep is it? How far back does it go? From the road back to your lot?
To the 9,
Yeah. That little
Oh,
piece
there,
there, how
there.
long is it?
from here
One
to
second.
here.
This one that I have shows 270 feet
Okay, thank you.
from the road to the
To where it intersects the
south side
90s.
of the.
Oh,
So the .43 is 70 by 270?
7.
That's what this one shows. This one shows the 100 feet by 270.
Okay.
And it looks like the main portion of the lot's 300 plus feet further back.
Yeah,
Doesn't look too narrow.
374
Yeah.
to the.
It's about 266 feet, to be
They're
exact.
significant, but not.
Okay,
oh, you said there were other, just talking, you said with the flag lots, also the flag lot, with all this, so it's a number of other, a lot of ways to solve this.
Thank you for your time, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
so, are you okay, you've got everything down, and we can move
Yeah,
on?
got access.
Okay.
Thank you.
Eric's got discussion on business licenses. I'm not sure what those applications are. Do you have anything?
I think it was you, some people were complaining about weird businesses around that do not have business licenses. So, somewhere, or sometime, they wanted to talk about those businesses that are showing up, but do not have business licenses, because nobody knows about them. And I think you even mentioned one, you had one behind you.
Well, they have a business license.
Okay, were they a nuisance or something? I can't remember, but people were seeing others that they were sure didn't have licenses. So,
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's
that's-
right, and so Eric was asking if you know of
If you
any.
know of any.
To bring
yeah,
those
so
up.
he said
Businesses
they'll
without
table it
business
to another
licenses.
time, apparently, this is the
Okay,
other time.
yeah, thank you.
I wasn't aware of any running businesses without licenses.
Okay.
Well,
I know 2 or 3.
well, there is probably one across the street from me. I mean, but they've rented their basement, and the guy who's renting the basement has a business, and he parks his equipment on that lot. So he's not operating the business out of his lot, but that's where all his equipment's parked.
Okay, well, that's probably a violation, because you can't rent your basement unless they're related. And then-
Oh, just by itself, yeah.
Yeah, so,
So there's two problems.
there's
Yeah.
two.
Do we have someone designated as an officer to go out and check on those
Eric?
things?
That would
Or
be Eric.
just Eric?
Because Eric has the beard.
He looks,
Should we
Scary.
consider getting someone else other than Eric since
No.
he's so busy and swamped?
That would be the council's choice.
Yep,
So-
and we don't want to have to pay him.
So Epic has gone and served some notices on things related to construction and planning at Eric's direction when he's asked. So he does have that help when he's asked or needed it or directed us.
But in a case like this where someone's renting the basement out, I don't think Epic should be.
Well, until we have not gone to anything like that, but we have, the building without a permit issues and those things, he's directed us multiple times to go knock on their door and ask them nicely to stop.
I wonder if it'd pay to put a public notice in the wave that the town is wanting to have volunteer.
Enforcement.
Some people might say, I didn't know I needed a business license. And yet you go into their place of business and storm the place and say, you gotta have a business license or we're gonna shut down. I think we should give them the opportunity, these businesses, maybe to come forward.
Well, I think you're welcome to go in and talk to them, but I imagine the town, for liability reasons, would rather you didn't say you're a representative of the town when you talk to them.
No, he's thinking just like, library amnesty, bring your book back and we'll charge you. So report yourself and,
So Eric's policy on the first letter is, he's been sending letters to offenders as he's found out about them. And the first letter is, that at least the ones I've read, have been generally pretty nice. It starts out, perhaps you didn't know, but you're in violation of the code. Here's a couple ways you could fix that. We look forward to working with you to resolve the matter. The second letter is, here's our attorney's number, and you don't quite understand, but you missed the nice guy.
yeah, now
So-
you have to talk to our attorney.
That's like a letter going out is already in place?
So Eric has sent letters out to,
Eric has.
just over time, different offenders that have caused problems. Eric has sent letters to them, and we've either hand-delivered them or mailed them. And I'm just saying, to your point, the first letter is usually kind of to that, maybe you didn't know, let's work together and solve this. Is the second, third letter that have been kind of, okay, well, since you don't want to work with us, let's try this differently.
Hasn't
Well, I
the,
think if a business owner was breezing through the wave, and this is just an example, but if he reads it, the town of Daniel would like to notify the citizens that if you're running a business in the town, you need to come before the planning commission and make it known and pay your fee.
I will work for all those that get away, but there's a lot of people that don't get away.
and I also know that Eric has sent out letters that say you're not in compliance with the town code. At some future time, we may choose to enforce it for some things that, just to make sure they're not grandfathered. No one's complained
Well,
about it.
I guess what I'm trying to get away from is an individual that's on the planning zone. I hate to go to my neighbors and say, I'm gonna rat you out.
Yeah,
So get this thing taken care of. I'm just trying to find a smooth way around.
public way that we don't have to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if somebody gets, if they're not reading the paper, then at least you can say, well, it was in the paper, it was
If we
published.
have to mail people a water bill, we could mail it in everybody's water bill.
Well, not everybody's,
Well, but that would get that people, the numbers of
Similar.
people who are on the water.
But that wouldn't be universal.
No, that's what we're trying to think, there isn't really anything universal, because a lot of us don't take the way.
Besides, I'm finding that they're not really reading the things that are put in their bills anyway. 3 times now I ask, please put your account number or your water number, and it's right there next to your name, and I still get a ton of payments back to that.
What about that one where the check doesn't equal the amount of the big one?
And
does
they
your
were saying-
drop box work pretty good? Do a lot of people drop?
They are, yeah.
I dropped
did a lot
mine.
that way.
That's great.
And I've had a couple of people thank me for having that there, so, yeah, so that's what I'm, so.
Where'd you get that idea?
What have you decided to do with it? Anything? No.
Kathy, where'd you get that idea? Drop box.
I remember, I won't tell you because I can't think of her name. I took one lady to go see her husband at the care center with
Elaine Watson.
Elaine Watson, and she had one, and I thought, after a while, after I started this part of the business, I thought that would be a smart way that they're not being illegal by putting them in my regular mailbox, which a lot of them did before, they just put it in, and that's illegal, so. Now, this will be the easiest way to do it.
That's a great idea.
So City Water has a drop box.
Yeah, right in front of my house, there's a secure lockbox. They can just drop it in. A lot of people don't want to spend the 50 cents on things.
Yeah.
Don't blame them.
Are there any other discussions on business licenses, or?
Yeah, I have a question. I don't understand the difference between commercial and somebody having a business in their home. What's the difference?
There's a ordinance that allows a home occupation.
In
And
an RA5.
in an RA5 zone
And other zones, right?
Other zones. But there's some specific requirements where you don't have anything stored on the property, you have only one vehicle of, 1 ton or less. And there's some other requirements, but I don't remember them all.
And do all the people that have business licenses conform to that, or do they? I mean, it seems to me like I travel up and down the roads and stuff and see a lot of stuff that don't conform to that.
My opinion is no, they don't, but the one that I've talked about, Eric went and inspected and said there were no violations. So I think he had to do this to do that, but that's his decision.
And when you drive down 3,000 south, there's a couple of places that, I mean, he's got 2 or 3 diesels and a couple of tankers and stuff sitting on.
Yeah, but is that a business or is he just parking?
Yeah, they have private vehicles, that's,
Don't know.
Okay, I think
But
it's wondering,
I agree.
I wondered about that same one. when I
because, you
drove
know, they have to require that, put those sort of things in the industrial area in the town. And wonder how come we're getting away from it out here? You know, we're just encouraging people to come out here and build out here so that they can do that.
And maybe that's another thing we should put on the agenda for one of the next meetings, is to go through that section of the code and just find out
Let's put that on the agenda.
legal, what's not legal.
I
Okay,
mean,
so that's.
if you've got 5 tractor trailers that are sitting out in front of your place, they move in and out, and they're firing up every morning, you have trouble driving 5 of those vehicles at once. Something's up.
So we'll put it on there about more
Do we need a
information about business licenses and.
That would be good, probably, to have a motion.
Okay, I move we put it on next month's agenda, the discussion about what constitutes a home business or, yeah, see, now I've got too many words in there, but.
Yeah, we agree.
You know,
Okay, you put on the agenda. I barely got to what you put on the agenda. now.
Oh, good, because the rest of it's
A
garbage.
review
Okay.
Review
business
of
license.
non-conforming businesses.
Okay.
A review of what constitutes a non-conforming business in the RA, or in the non-commercial zone.
Okay.
Okay, we get
Good on the agenda, review
of what constitutes
what constitutes.
a non-conforming business outside the commercial zone.
Outside of commercial
Does that sound like it?
commercial businesses,
You could mention
that would,
code if you wanted, but that's fine.
commercial businesses, is that what you said?
Yeah, outside the commercial zone,
Oh, commercial.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
or non-commercial zone, or outside commercial areas, or just the idea.
Okay. Oh, so now we need a second.
Yeah, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion?
Good idea.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Are you saying aye?
I did
You're saying aye.
No, I'm looking at Tom.
He's abstaining.
I'm abstaining, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna carry without me anyhow.
Well, because it would be good to have it discussed, what constitutes personal vehicles and commercial vehicles creating a nuisance.
Well,
Because it's
just-
possible to own multiple vehicles and not be running a commercial business. I mean, there's the one guy down there who's got his trucks all parked along his fence, but, you know, they're pickup trucks each generation. So we don't want to come up with, you know, ordinances that restrict